All right.
All right. Drum roll, please.
We have a very special guest today. Now, episode 35. We welcome you back. We have Mike Noble, is a producer, editor, and writer working in the New York City area who spent decades crafting stories. He has edited multiple documentaries, including Emmy-winning Korean War stories for PBS, Fruitcake Fraud for Investigation Discovery, and Murder at the Carter County Mines on HBO Max. He also edited a slew of promos and trailers for dozens of series, such as Vikings and Expedition Unknown. His clients include Discovery Channel, History Channel, Investigation Discovery, PBS, Sci-Fi, Food Network, Lifetime, Travel Channel, Science Channel, Animal Planet, TV One, World Bank, EPA, and Johns Hopkins, and more.
Jeez.
Mike divides his spare time between being a husband and father, pursuing various lifelong passions. He has written about the horror genre and interviewed authors for publications like Cemetery Dance and Dark Discoveries. He is directing a series of YouTube shorts on New York burgers, The Burger Chronicles New York City. He's also a stand-up comedian, aficionado, and frequent performer. You can find him on Instagram at Lost Creek Creative.
Jeez. Take a breath.
All right, Mike, thank you for being here.
Take
a bow.
Water. That was a lot. I think that's the longest of the 35 episodes. That is the longest intro ever. Welcome. Welcome.
That sounded way more impressive than I feel, but
Part of that was my. Do you like my voice?
I mean, and like when and it's like me being, I'm an editor most of the, it's
so
not.
Let's
like
start there. I asked you today, and I want to ask you. It's one of those things. What you told me, I still sometimes don't get it. I know there's people out there listening. What is an editor? Let's start there, and then we'll backtrack to how you got into it.
Well, I guess I should clarify. I'm not like.
What does an editor do?
I'm not like an editor for a magazine. I'm an editor for television and.
You're a freelance.
Yeah, I'm a freelance editor for television documentaries. I've been doing it for probably longer than I want to say. I say on my resume, I say 10 years plus, but it should really be like 10 years plus.
Yeah.
But I've been doing it for a while. So, what we do is we basically take all of the footage that comes in from, so there's pre-production where you're planning and you figuring out what you're going to do, you're writing the script, all that. So pre-production. Then there's production where you're out in the field, you're shooting. And then most of my career has been specializing in post-production. So I am someone who, for the most part, I'm doing a little bit more of the other parts these days, but I made my career just being in an edit suite. I would get the footage. Sometimes I get a script, sometimes I don't, depending on what the project is. And I'll go through everything that comes in, hundreds of hours of footage sometimes, and condense that down to an hour of entertaining documentary or series. And then it's weird, as a freelance editor, I got to take whatever work I can get, honestly, especially in New York, to survive. It's very competitive, but thankfully there are a lot of needs for an editor. An editor's like being a bass player in a band. Like, you're always going to be able to find a gig because somebody's always looking for a bass player, because it's not the most glamorous part of entertainment, right?
Yeah.
Necessary.
Right. So I have a line. I say that editing is what happens when you're too ugly to be in front of the camera and too lazy to carry the camera. So we're the veal calves of the entertainment industry. We sit in a dark room and get fed footage and get kind of plump and very lily white. We never see the sun.
My question is this. Sorry to interrupt you. Will the director just bring you 100 hours of footage, like you said? Is that an exaggeration? Is that what they will?
No, I mean, I've had
They'll direct that much material?
I've had projects where it's 80 hours of nothing but interview. Like, literally people being interviewed, 10 8-hour interviews. And that's what you got to make the documentary out of. So then you got to.
And they thought that was interesting to interview that much, is what I'm saying?
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it really is. And that is kind of like that's almost like the truest form of documentary, editing of that nature, where you're shooting interviews. That's like a Errol Morris kind of technique where you shoot people for a very long time, because after about 4 or 5 hours, they start really becoming comfortable and start actually speaking the truth. You shoot somebody for 30 minutes, they've got a guard on.
Right.
So
It's like podcasting. Like, Rogan used to get shit for having a 3-hour interview, but if you watch any of his interviews, anything that's like 2-3 hours, you get to see the real stuff comes out that last half, right? The real people come out. He gets them to drink a little bit. Next thing you know, people are talking about smoke. And they're talking about crazy stuff. So go ahead, what you were saying.
Oh, so I mean, just like, I've made 90-minute documentaries out of, I think, 200 hours of footage. I've done a lot of, I mean, I'm lucky. I've done a lot of different types of work. I do promos, which is like a 30-second. So basically for a television promo, I'll take an hour worth of, program. I've done a ton of promos for Naked and Afraid. Let's just say that. So I'll get a Naked and Afraid episode, watch the Naked and Afraid episode, pick out the best little sections, kind of build that into like a short little tiny story that, you leave people like wanting to watch it. That's the point. And then you have like a 5 to 7 second like graphic at the end saying, watch Naked and Afraid coming up next Thursday.
So you got an hour of material to condense down to 30 seconds. Well, you have to have an eye for picking the right thing, right?
15 seconds.
You have to have an eye for picking. How do you know, like, am I picking the best part? You second guess yourself, or?
Now, see, I understand. Well, I haven't done that. No, that takes patience and skill, because I create content and I always shoot more than
I watch it.
Part. So I understand that, but that's on a micro level compared to you. Not that it needs to be compared, but it's just.
But you still got to edit things,
Yeah, but
imagine
like
yeah,
1,000.
because he's got an hour of footage down to 30 to 15 seconds.
Yeah.
I would be like, oh my God, what if I missed something? Let me watch it again. Next thing you know, you're there all day.
And it's not just me. I mean, most of especially my bread and butter kind of like work has always been the Discovery networks, like Discovery Channel. That is where I really kind of became a professional, and some people who know me would put that in quotations. But yeah, that's kind of where I cut my teeth. And some of my producers, like my friend right now, Alex E. Rodriguez, he's like a really like a good guy. I'm close with him, like we're friends.
Yeah.
But he's the producer and I'm the editor most of the time. Sometimes I help him write, or sometimes he's the last thing I did was a tie-in with HBO Max and Discovery Channel for Stephen King project, which is awesome. I got to help them promote it. Welcome to Derry, which I was totally excited about. But I did that with a guy named Matt Hardwick and Alex. So those two guys were helping me like create a really compelling 30-second piece that would air to promote, it's a tie-in to promote 2 different shows. So, it's crazy. For 30 seconds, we worked approximately 2 weeks because this was a high profile one. We had a lot of eyes on it. Network heads were looking at this from different networks. So
do you ever meet the network heads, or that's other meetings where
occasionally, like by accident? They never want to meet me. They sometimes like, oh, you're the editor, like like or I'll be in a meeting, and I mean, it's funny. Like as far as we are not the glamorous ones. As
but
an
what
editor,
you do is it's like what writers do. They're
right?
not
Sometimes they'll come in because they want to see what's under the hood.
You're making it happen, though.
Like the CEO of the company will come in. Oh, let me look at this edit suite. Oh, that's what's, they're in there for like
Silly
10 minutes.
stuff, right?
Yeah. But they're cool. I've met some network heads. Sometimes they're really cool.
So you've done mostly documentary and commercials.
Yeah, mostly documentary, promos, trailers, commercials, corporate. I've done.
Okay, let's say you've gotten an opportunity to work on a major film. Mm-hmm. The skill set transfer.
I mean, yeah, like it's funny. Like I am actively like trying to make that happen. I've been for a while. So I know a lot of the guys in the ACE. Do you know what ACE is? Like when you're watching a movie, you see like, so and so ACE, like like Jim Thompson, ACE.
Okay.
That's America Cinema Editors.
Oh.
So
okay.
so that's a group I I work with people who are in that group, and I've seen people, kind of graduate from docs to feature films. It's a little harder and a little different in New York. Like if you live in LA, you're kind of like that's what you're going for.
Gotcha.
In New York, it's like documentaries have their own kind of like I guess prestige, but not saying that I don't want to do a major film, but
Or even television. Like show.
yeah, or even television. I mean, at this point, it's crazy. Like the way things have evolved, like it's almost in a way, I don't want to say, I don't want this to sound disparaging to my profession or the people that I work with or my colleagues, but it's almost like more relevant to be making YouTube clips and you know what I mean? It's like the landscape is changing so much.
So you know what I just saw on TV? I'm sorry, the radio. They said that we're now officially where YouTube is bigger than network TV.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's officially
And
TV is now the minority. It's not. It's just flipped itself.
correct.
How long did it take? 20 years, but it finally happened. And it's
And-
I mean, not even maybe even less than 20 years. I think.
but it is crazy that
I mean, because
YouTube.
Once upon a time, people would say, "Oh, you're just social media famous. You're not really famous."
Oh, and that's no longer.
not- yeah.
That's not the case anymore.
They're going to be literally saying, "Oh, you're just TV famous. You're not social media famous."
Right. But how much followers you got? Because I mean,
Oh, you've been on TV, yeah, but have you been on social
Well, here's
media?
the thing. Like, so, like, I can.
Before
Oh, sorry.
I met my friend. My friend is a computer programmer.
Yeah.
Right, program and stuff. And he's doing some stuff. 2000, I met this guy, and he literally showed us an interface with like an old time TV, and he's like, "This is the future. And all you guys should have your websites, and you should have your TV channel because it's not." He said it's not going to be like TV where you get up and flip. He said everything's going to be streaming. He said this 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, some
right.
people predicted it. No, I believe it. Some people
We
saw
hear
it.
like YouTube because when I first heard of YouTube, I remember what he said. And YouTube came around in what year?
It was like early 2000s, right?
It's funny. I mean, I kind of saw it coming, and then I would always like, I don't know. I have kids and a wife, and I've been a father for I have quite a while now. I have a daughter who's like working at a hair salon. Like that's how long I've been a father. I have 4 kids, so when YouTube started, like I was like, oh, I was interested, but it felt like a young person's thing.
Right.
And now it's everybody's thing. So I'm doing like YouTube stuff
Yeah.
on my own. But the market it's just so crazy competitive. There's like, I saw somebody tell me it's like 40,000 videos like per day or per hour or something like that are uploaded to YouTube every day.
nuts.
So,
And YouTube was before Instagram and Facebook.
No,
Yeah.
YouTube's been around. I was watching YouTube in 2004, 2005. Was it like first there was like E-Bombs World? You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And then those videos are now all on YouTube.
Remember Ask Jeeves?
Yeah.
Atlas,
Actually,
what was
Google. You don't even think about Jeeves. Like Jeeves.
Yeah.
what happened to him?
But
Nobody's asking him shit anymore.
Nothing.
what with editing?
You
You ever
Cameron
thought?
should just tell us how raunchy we are. Our stand up.
I told him, I'm like, I got kids, so I don't curse a lot. So I'm going to try not to because I don't want to, because I'm sensitive because there's a guy editing this and I know he's going to have to bleep this stuff.
See, he knows. He knows the insides.
Yeah, he knows the inside. I mean,
Have you ever edited a stand-up special?
I have
wanted
not,
to?
and I want to. I really want to. Yeah, no, I want to. And I love stand up, and it's funny. So, oh God, I don't know how which areas we want to veer off into here, but I love stand up. Stand up was my that was like my first thing I ever, like as a kid, first thing I ever wanted to be, because I was always like,
for saying it, look at that. Approximately 20 million videos are uploaded to YouTube daily.
Jesus Christ.
20
I was like,
million.
so it must have been 40,000 a minute. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Must have been.
Wow.
That's insane. Wow. But
TV can't compete with 40,000.
There's less stars in the galaxy.
well, and here's the thing too. So like right now, I believe there's all kinds of like these little milestone moments happening in television and in cable and in film where things are kind of the money is starting to pivot towards like, quote unquote content creators as opposed to, established networks. But this is the first year I believe that more ad revenue money has went towards influencers, creators, than like television and
Crazy.
film.
Yeah.
I don't know about film, but I know I know it's like a big thing right now because you can just go as a company or as like some kind of like a marketing entity, like you want to advertise something, you can go to a single influencer, go directly through them, and know that you're going to get like like you can just look at the number, like you can see like, oh, this guy posted this picture of my product, and 40,000 people looked at it. Like I know that, so why would I pay an absorbent amount of money to put it on a cable network where who knows, like maybe 40,000 people to watch it. Maybe they've already maybe they flipped during or maybe like a lot of people, they're watching it like.
So you imagine when, because as far as commercials in America, Super Bowl halftime show is it during the Super Bowl? Well, during the Super Bowl is when you run new ads and everything.
Right.
Imagine that takes a shift to social media, Instagram.
Yeah, is that even a big thing anymore? The Super Bowl ads?
It is
Still-
still.
it still is.
That's
Still
it's
is.
almost like
Still is.
I think the ads on the Super Bowl are for a lot of I think that's why a lot of Americans like actually watch the Super Bowl, for the ads, for the halftime show, for the event.
But the rest of
it,
the year, they don't.
Same
They
as the
don't compared to-
Grammys. I mean,
compared
same
to-
as the Oscars. The Oscars are very similar, but they don't have that. They don't have that ad kind of like extravaganza.
So you have these 1 or 2 shows a year, but the rest of the year, it's all YouTube. It's
Listen,
not.
everything has
Instagram
changed.
and YouTube.
I grew up with one channel in Barbados, one channel as a kid. Now they got everything, right? As most places do, right? But in America, you had several channels that you would flip and change, but you used to have a TV guide, and you had to look at it and say, okay, this is premiere this, so I'll build my activities to come home to watch this at 8:00. Remember TGIF on Fridays?
Oh, yeah.
I still look forward to that. Me and my brother.
You know what I just realized? Like an Instagram person, social influencer, whatever you want to call him, you realize that when you look at somebody and it says, oh, he has 24 million followers. This person has 8,000 followers. This person has 2 million followers. It's like a built-in Nielsen rating for you to see. It's insane.
That's what-
you used
that's
to have
what
to
I'm
like
saying.
be an executive to know that, and that's what you're saying. Now everybody it's open right there.
And now
It's like open source
we
Nielsen ratings.
we got our daughter some years ago. We got our daughter TV for her room, right? I can't tell you the last day I don't think that TV has been on in about 3 or 4
because she's
years.
looking at the screen, right? She's on
Everything is phone.
Your daughter?
Yeah.
No TV. Yeah, you know my son doesn't. My son just is always on his phone.
How old is your son?
He's 17. And I'm like, you don't watch too much TV. And I realized, he has something better.
Because he got a TV.
Where is it? Where's the phone? Where is he when he's watching the phone?
Either
not in the
in the
bathroom.
living room or in the maybe listening.
I mean, it's
Look,
Let's just say I disinfect doorknobs regularly in my home. You know,
does he ever
the
do
dad
the?
look.
Does he ever do the Bluetooth thing, where like he's in the bathroom and all of a sudden like, why are there like
Costco sells Kleenex by the 8-packs.
Oh, God.
That's all I'm going to say.
no? But you've had like
Sells Clorox wipes.
where the Bluetooth's still on. They go in the bathroom. Next thing you know, you're hearing like,
Oh, that's a Burke
"Hi,
Reicher.
jerkmate!" Like what? You know,
You know,
because
Burke Reicher has a bit about that he was watching
No.
porn and he
Oh, it was on
accidentally
the
hit that
Bluetooth?
button to live stream it to his kids in the living room.
well, Matt Perry. Like I did not know that he had that bit, but I mean, it's like But I remember Matthew Perry one time. He had he told this story on whatever. He had like a wireless like Bluetooth speaker, like the first set of them, and apparently he blasted out adult programming to all of like the Hollywood or whatever because he had a party for like his friends or whatever. But whatever. Rest in peace, Matthew Perry.
Yeah.
But
Nuts.
yeah, I veered off.
did
That was
something
me.
like this
I made
similar.
it blue. That was me. I got it dirty.
I've done something similar to this. Luckily, it was nothing too bad on my phone. It was one of our Instagram sketches, and so I remote start my car in the morning. And I was giving my son a ride, so he goes in the car, but I'm still in the house. But I didn't realize, like the stupid podcast on your phone will just continue when you turn on your car, and all of a sudden, what was playing is one of our videos about something crazy, and I come in and he's like, really nice. He's like, nice, and I'm like, oh. It was like the one I kind of would rather him not see.
He's really nice.
But yeah, technology can get you like that sometimes.
Yeah, I have a 10-year-old little boy, and he's and my wife, God bless her, she's really, really good about limiting screen time, like putting parental blockers. Like for instance, our daughter did not have any social media whatsoever until I believe she was 15, and
So
we
you're
let her have Instagram.
4 kids?
I think
that was
I
helpful.
think that's good.
4
Good.
kids?
That's good.
4 kids,
We're
yeah.
gonna get back to the editing in a second, but you're married to a 5'2" Latina.
I am.
We're talking about this.
I'm married to a 5'2" Latina. She's
Tell me about the breakdown of Latinas. Let's talk about the breakdown of Latinas. We talked about this before we
she
started.
and
We're
I,
gonna do it.
just so you know, she and I met at Discovery Channel. We were both friends, and God, like I have to be very careful about what I say right
He's
now.
already turning red.
She's like, you
Because-
discovered Latinas.
No, because she's gonna be like watching and.
She's waiting.
Uh,
Oh, okay.
I love it.
But you better not say anything I don't want, because she's like I'm like Mr. Open
She's
Book
watching.
guy.
What's her name?
Lisbeth.
Elizabeth, if you're watching, I apologize. I made him do this. Now, what'd you say? 5'2" Latinas.
Yes, Elizabeth.
I said.
Alex.
I said I said if you have somebody who's a short in Latina, you got the Napoleon Latina.
but
It's
anyway,
already a problem.
but yeah,
Already Latina.
She was a producer,
Mm-hmm.
so that's how we met. So I was editor, producer. We were friends, and then had just had an opportunity to become more than that, and we took it, and it's been awesome. She's
So you first worked together on a show?
we
Was
never
she your
worked
boss?
on a show.
Was she your boss?
Yeah, she was my boss, and I was her underling, and she told me if I didn't like go out with her that I would not get a raise.
Man, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm joking.
I know these are
No,
like
we did not. I was never. God, I was gonna say I was never under her.
Oh, jeez.
oh hello. This is pun.
Yes, we're going. No, I'm not going there. Again, I'm
fun,
fearing
Kathy.
for my life as I'm talking to you. Anybody who knows her and knows me will know why. But yes, we were never bosses, or we barely worked. Like when we
Barely?
when we
Got it.
started dating, we knew all the same people, worked in the same field, but we're not. Like I had no power over her, she had no power over me. We were not connected. There was no me tooing.
Gotcha.
At least whatever.
Backing out. I'm kidding.
Backing out of that. But anyway, so she is a 5'2" Latina from Paterson, New Jersey. And like, yeah, she grew up in Paterson, New Jersey. And like I grew up in Eastern Kentucky. Like, so it's a hillbilly.
Yeah, you have a really
like-
interesting background about.
Yeah.
So he grew up in Hazard, Kentucky, which is the Dukes of Hazzard
Just a good old boy.
Exactly. That song.
Needed no home.
Yeah, that's the Waylon Jennings song that I believe was based on the Hazard. Like that's what the show was. I think they worked that show around that song. But anyway,
Here's the funny thing mentioning that show. The guy that played Boss Hogg, I forgot his name. What's this? The guy you remember? Know the
Oh,
actor that
He's
played-
going to tell you in a second when he met him.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
go ahead.
He spoke like 5 different languages.
And he was skinny.
Sorrel Brook, yeah. Sorrel
He was
Brook.
skinny
So they
too.
made him
he
look
had
fat with the jowls.
but his body was thin. So here's a story, real quick. I'll do this quickly as I possibly can. So the Dukes of Hazzard, the TV show, was not necessarily set in my hometown. However, Hazard, Kentucky, when I was growing up in the 80s, early 80s, they would have these festivals called the Black Gold Festival. And black gold was meant to be coal, because it was a coal mining town. So they would have the Black Gold Festivals, Appalachian Arts, and like all this, like
Appalachian.
bluegrass and
Bluegrass
like
came
big
from
big
there,
festival. And so when I was a little kid, my mom took me to the Black Gold Festival, and that year they had members of the cast there. So they had him, they had Boss Hogg, they had Roscoe P. Coltrane,
Roscoe P. Google.
they had Gooner.
Uh-huh.
Is it Gooner or Goober? I think it's Gooner.
Goober. Oh, I don't know.
Whatever. But they had him
Who else?
and Daisy Duke.
Oh, and Luke,
Daisy,
Luke.
he met Elizabeth Bach.
I got lost in the crowd, and there's a huge crowd. There was like tons of people there. Like
Was it Tom Walpot? Tom.
those two were not there.
they
The
were-
stars were like too good to come. But
Here's the funny thing. Who played? What was the other guy? The one with the blonde hair. Who was that?
Tom Opat,
That's not Tom. Is it?
is it?
No.
No.
The other. Who's the other actor? Damn it.
Let's just say Bo and Luke.
Yeah.
So
Oh, here you go. John Snyder. Because
There you
he's
go.
actually from Westchester.
John Snyder was the blonde,
he's
and
actually-
Tom Wopak was the
Yeah.
right,
He's actually from Westchester. John
What?
Snyder, I believe.
I did not
or
know
maybe
that.
upstate New York, but for sure. And I met him. A friend of mine, a good buddy of mine, did a theater show that he was a part of. and I got a photo with him.
That's kind of cool. That's very cool.
So what happened when you met?
Yeah, to finish my story real quick. So I was like a little boy. I got lost in the crowd. So I went to the stage because that's the only thing I did.
How old were you?
I can't. I was. God, I think it was like 82 or 3. So I must have been like 9, maybe 8 or 9. But I went up to maybe 10. I went up to the stage and I said, I can't find my mommy. Mm-hmm. Daisy Duke picked me up and said, "Would this boy's mother please come to the stage?" And I, even as a little boy, I definitely took a peek. I took a peek.
It's like one of those YouTube videos. You see the kid looking, and you're like, "This is the moment I became a man."
It was when I became a man, when Daisy Duke lifted me
Oh
up.
man!
But yeah, and dude, like, it did freak me out when I saw Boss Hogg because he was thin.
Yeah.
Like he was just wearing like regular clothes, but he let me like smoke on his cigar.
At 10?
Like little boy, is the early 80s, 70s, different time.
Yeah, it was a different time.
Different time.
Wow.
That was a favorite show growing up. Before we knew anything about Confederate flag and whatnot, because we all would sing, "Just a good old boy." We'd play
it's the Confederate. Yeah, the
fight. Who's gonna be Boo? Who's gonna be?
It's oh my God, and man, I definitely like. If we're gonna talk about that, like I will say, like, thank God I was raised with my mom was like a very like kind of dyed in the wool Democrat, and my grandfather was a coal miner, like straight up coal miner, and he was a union guy, so like I kind of had like somewhat liberal kind of like upbringing, which it could have. A lot of people I know in that area did not have that kind of, so who knows, like, I'm just glad, like, I mean, I have a mixed race family right now, so I'm kind of, that would not have, whatever, I guess I probably wouldn't had that not been the case, but anyway, I'm just saying, like, it's funny though, because like when you're from Eastern Kentucky and people, like, you tell people, like, they're, like, you can see it sometimes, they're like,
but unless you tell people that, nobody would know that.
But like Kentucky,
that I would, because I feel like I have it in my voice. I feel like it comes out. Like I can hear it. Like when I watch.
you probably will around other Southerners. It starts probably coming out crazy.
Yeah, when I go home, like I'm talking like that, like real.
But like
like real quick.
Like that.
But the world's changing. I work with a Filipino guy, and like heavy accent from the Philippines, just came here, and apparently he lived in Kentucky. He's like, "Oh, there's a big Filipino community in Kentucky." I'm like, "Who'd have thought that?"
There's a lot of
the country's changing.
Kentucky's interesting.
He says name Joseph. No, I'm stopping.
It's an interesting. It's a very interesting place to grow up. I will tell you that it was wild. We were feral, wild children. I would go to my friend's house. Like my friend Doug Ritchie, still my friend. We're Facebook buddies. I would go to his house, and his dad, like when I was 11, like a little boy, "Hey, here's some shotguns, man. Why don't you go out and like try to catch us some squirrel or something? Shoot us some dinner." Like we would go with loaded guns into the woods to play. Like I just look at my son right now. Somebody would die if I gave he would probably die, and like other people would die first. Like it's not because he's shooting people, just because they have no idea.
You hear Kentucky, you're like, "Oh man, that's deep south." Kentucky's just south of Ohio.
It's true.
You get there in 9 hours. You're in Kentucky, right?
There's a bridge in Cincinnati.
Ohio?
There's a
Kentucky.
bridge
9 hours. You're in
From Ohio?
from here,
from here.
from New York.
Oh, from here.
You're in Kentucky.
Yeah, from Ohio.
8, 9 hours,
that's
right?
right
There's
across
a bridge in Cincinnati that you take, and you're in northern Kentucky.
Yeah. All right,
Several bridges, yeah.
I love Cincinnati.
Yeah,
Cincinnati,
I've been there. I've been to that Cincinnati like four times, I think.
Cincinnati used to be way cool when I was in college. That's where I went to see all the great shows.
You had some interesting info about Cincinnati, medical-wise, medically. You said it was like one of the top places in the country for.
No, I think it's Cleveland, isn't it?
You said
talking about Cleveland
Cincinnati.
or Cincinnati?
Cincinnati.
I think it was Cleveland. Cleveland is like the
For
Cleveland Clinic.
balloon knot surgery.
What's that?
They do a lot of balloon knot surgery.
Do they really? Balloon? No, the Cleveland Clinic.
You know Jerry
Number one heart
Springer's-
center in the country.
You know that's where Jerry Springer is from, right? Jerry Springer.
Cincinnati?
He was the mayor of Cincinnati,
Oh,
and his this is so great. His his
Really?
mayor. Do you know this? His mayorship went to hell because he got caught paying for a hooker, and he got caught because he paid for her with a check. Like
For her what?
a hooker.
He got paid for, what did he do?
He got caught with a hooker because he paid the hooker with a check with his name on it that he signed. Jerry Springer. That's how he lost his mayorship. of Cincinnati. But then he became Jerry Springer, so we're all the better.
Jerry. And, it's funny, but before Jerry Springer, there was the Richard Bay Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember anybody remember that?
He was he from here or from Chicago?
I don't know.
Yeah, he was a wild one.
It was leaning on the wrong side because I remember sometimes I used to look forward to watching the Richard Ray show. And then he went, "Oh, today strippers." I was like,
dude, you know who started like that? People forget Oprah.
Oh God, yeah, Oprah.
She started that way. Yeah,
Oprah was in the gutter.
Yeah, you didn't know that, did you?
Oh.
Yep.
Oh yeah, when I
That's
was
a little
like,
past she likes to forget. Yep.
when she first came out, like it was all like
She was that. She was shockingly.
Yeah.
Yep. She transitioned. Hey, listen, Taylor Swift was country. Now she's pop. Things happen. Things change.
Yeah, because I remember the '80s.
Go where the money is.
Oprah's on. It was Oprah, Phil Donahue, Sally Jesse Raphael, and Jenny Jones on Channel 9. These would be evening
Jenny Jones
talk
was
shows.
fun. That's the one where, do you remember the guy like shot the other guy because Jenny Jones like said, "Hey, this guy there's a person who wants to like be your boyfriend or something," and then like it comes out and it's a like dude, and then the dude and then the guy shoots him like immediately afterwards, and then Jenny went soft after that.
Yeah, Jenny Jones.
She
Ricky
should have
Lake.
just owned it and said like, "Yeah, come on my show and kill somebody."
Jeez.
Like just went with it.
90s.
But I got a question for you about the editing stuff.
Back to the editing.
You've seen all these things get produced and made. So do you see if projects are pitched and turned down?
Yeah, I pitched. I've done that many times. I will tell you a story that I think is pretty interesting, and it was really kind of like the first time I started pitching, because I always knew I wanted to like pitch and direct and like do my own thing. And so when I was at a network that I'm not going to say anything. I'm trying not to give any kind of like thing away about the entities, but I did pitch a show, and the show was because I'm a huge horror fan. I've always loved horror my whole life, and the show was called True Horror with Jack Ketchum. Even had a guy in mind, a horror author, who Stephen King called him the scariest man in America. He was an ex-actor, he was an agent, but he was also a writer, and he wrote these really great horror novels. But she said, sure, I'll host it, because he was like, good looking older man who had who could write and talk. So I was like, so the idea was I was going to do a series that basically said like, here's this horror person from say, the guy from Psycho.
Right.
And so who was that person based on? And then so you kind of tell the story of how like our
so he would.
So this was like just like a literally something that would be on
like they may do Hannibal Lecter and see he's based on somebody.
Yeah, it's like like an anthology show basically, where you do every episode you like pick a horror villain or a horror, and then like what are the real life stories that inspired the writers. Yeah. So anyway, I pitched this to like 2 or 3 different places. And they all turned me down. I had 100 show ideas, and I had my first, like they said, can you write like the first one, write a script? And so I did. So I said, everybody knows like Hannibal Lecter. Everybody knows Psycho. Right. Everybody knows, God, there's another character that's, Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Nobody knows that that the man behind all of those 3 characters was one person, and his name was Ed Gein. Of course,
I was just thinking that with
it was Ed Gein. And so this was like maybe 13 years ago I did this, or 15 years ago. It was a while back when I first started pitching.
So that's the truth? Ed Gein was behind all those characters?
Yeah. He's the inspiration for all those characters. Like Robert Bloch, who wrote Psycho, based the character Tony Perkins, that Tony Perkins played, who was dressing up like his mother and stuff, on Ed Gein. Leatherface was based on, because he's putting people's skin on just like Ed Gein did, and then
fun, Dave.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then Hannibal Lecter, obviously completely different personas, but a lot of his methods were based on Ed Gein's methods. So anyway, so that was the first line of the episode that I actually wrote to pitch it, and then probably 2 years later, I was editing spots for a network, and a show came in, and the first episode was everybody knows the guy from Psycho. Everybody knows
They stole your idea?
The first line of like my script.
So they stole it.
Totally. And I had to edit the promo for it.
Ooh.
But can you do anything about that?
I
or you
did,
just-
and I did, and I just ate it, and I was like, if you, well,
No, you
here's the
couldn't do
thing.
anything
This
about it,
happened
like
to like
sue or
you
anything
brought
like
up
that?
Bert Kreischer like recently. You know, like he was the inspiration for. I think it was like there was another show called
Machine.
a movie. There was
Machine.
there was a movie that Reynolds, the guy who played Deadpool. What's his name?
Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, it was not Van Wilder. There was some
Helsing?
like no, there was a like way back in the day. There was a movie about a crazy college kid, and it was based on Bert Kreischer's
Not
life
American-
story.
not American Pie, no.
So how did that
And
happen
he-
to you, though? Why
but
didn't
he
you just go
tried
with
to-
your idea? What was the purpose of...
Well, when you pitch an idea, and it's been like this forever. It wasn't always like this, but like about like legally, it just started evolving because people started suing for ideas. And you can't really do that. But when you pitch an idea to anybody, you're basically giving them your idea. So like so you are like they can take it with you or without you. So what you try to do is you try to go in with enough stuff where they don't want to do it without you, or so they call it access or attachment. So you're attached to a certain thing that you can bring, or you have access to certain people that only you can have access to. So if you have those
They
two,
felt they didn't need you.
they didn't.
Must have, right?
They
Must have
didn't.
felt that.
They didn't. They didn't need me. I mean, they like the idea.
The idea.
And who knows?
Hired
I
their
mean,
writers and-
I cannot necessarily prove that, even
Right.
though
That's the other thing. Intellectual property, you can't prove it.
I can't prove it. And
Duality
and
of
I
thought.
did like I talked to people, and they were like, "Look, yeah, you could pursue like maybe
It's so sleazy.
You could like take somebody to court, but then you would never work again." And I'm like, it's not worth it.
It's
and
not
it's
like you have a copyright to that idea.
well,
Like, you
and
don't
I've,
really have
I've right, and I've since like kind of just absorbed the kind of idea that it's almost like a rite of passage for creatives. A lot of people have
that
went through
happen?
that. A lot of
Oh,
people.
man.
A lot of people.
Yeah, that sucks,
and
though,
it's-
because
it's not
a
like,
gut punch. You're like, I could have been, yeah.
But yeah, Bert Kreischer had because he had a Rolling Stone article about how crazy he was, and then they went and made a movie about it and he went through the same thing but I mean, his was on a much greater scale. I mean, mine was, and you know what? Honestly, it's not like a super. Like I can't imagine that nobody else was thinking of that. However, I did like look into it and was like, oh, I did talk to those people, so that sucks. So whatever, but that happened, and I'm fine with it. And
to have to sit there going, I gotta edit this shit. This is my freaking. Does anybody?
I did, and it was good. I made a good promo out of it, and it's what's even crazier is I met the host one time and talked to him, and he was nice, great. He had nothing to do with it, like. It's like
Not
whatever.
look those people in the face, be like, this is so familiar. Didn't I pitch
I-
this to you, asshole?
The producer I was working with at the time, I mean, I was definitely upset about it, and but
Oh, man, that's rough.
it is what it is. But then the other thing, so I did I did pitch a show about my hometown and to Discovery Channel, and this is such a wild experience. But I was working at Discovery Channel, and they had a place called Discovery Studios, which they were a internal development team that created shows that Discovery would use, so they wouldn't have to pay for for an outside production company.
Right.
So it was a way for them to make money or save money. So they were looking for shows about Appalachia, and I found that out, and I'm like, wait, I'm from there, and I started talking about my buddy Sheepdog and all these like people that I grew up with, and they were like, oh well, we got it. So they sent me down with a crew, and.
What I saw, you filmed that, right?
Yeah. Well, I was a second camera actually on that, but there was a great guy, Stefan Weissen, I think is his name, amazing cinematographer. He went down there with us, but yeah, just like I went and I shot all my old friends, and we shot like coal mining and I had a kind of an idea but they were that it should be like almost like a Simpsons type show because Hazard, Kentucky is such a unique place, like in Appalachia. It's a wet county, which means you can buy alcohol, surrounded by dry counties, which means you can't. So everybody can come in there to get wild,
That still exists.
So it was a wild
Counties,
town.
Means you can't buy alcohol 7 days a week. You can't.
Oh yeah, there are dry counties all over Kentucky
So
still.
let's go to Hazard and shoot episode 36 of the Velvet Sugar Podcast live.
That'd be awesome.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
I don't-
so with all of this, where did comedy come into play?
Okay. All right. So since we've been talking about Hazard and talking about Kentucky, I have this is dark. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. So when I moved into Dobbs Ferry. I'll just talk about now because when I was out of college, I really wanted to be a comedian, and I tried very hard for about 2 or 3 years, and I got to the point where I was actually getting somewhere. But because I was getting somewhere, I was getting paid for it. I started getting so sick at my stomach before each show that I actually got to the point where I was like really getting sick, and I
We're
like
doing stand up.
the stage fright was like unbearable.
Really?
Yeah, it just hit me. It started hitting me like out of nowhere. Because I was telling the first time I did
You have
comedy.
black audiences.
No, the first time I did comedy, I was 20 years old at a place called Comedy Off Broadway in Lexington, Kentucky. It was awesome. And the first time I did it, I think I had 5 minutes, and I killed. I had a set. I had like a written thing, and I mean, I just like all 5 minutes hit, and and it was like I can't believe it's such a rare thing to do that. And then I almost never did as well. So it's like I was chasing the dragon, but but I kept getting bigger. I mean, I kept getting better at it to the point where I was getting paid. But once money became involved, I started making myself sick. I started like trying to like come up with new material every time, and I started like. But anyway, so I quit. Dabbled in it a little bit in D.C., but then when I moved to Dobbs Ferry in New York, about I guess we moved 8 or 9 years ago. Sorry,
From Kentucky.
No. We moved from D.C. because
DC.
I was working in D.C. That's where I was doing like
Where you met your
discovery stuff.
5'2"
Where I met my
Latina.
wife. Yes, but she was a
Idiot.
yes, the 5'2" Latina. Like there are memes. You can look them up yourself. They're the 5'2" Latina baddie. Yes.
Once you meet one, you can't unmeet one. That's all I'm gonna say.
So anyway, where was I? Oh, so I moved to Dobbs. And like literally the first person I met, like as a like just like somebody that I started speaking to, was Tim Deere.
Yeah, I knew it.
Tim, the first
guest on our
first
show.
guest
Yeah.
on
First
this
guest
show.
on our show
First
ever.
guest.
Yeah, Tim Deary. So I met him, and I forget exactly how we met, but I met him at the library, I believe. And he said, "Oh, I'm doing this thing." Like we were just talking. I think he had a Misfit shirt. I was like, "Oh, I like that." And then like he's like, "Oh, I'm doing a thing with comedy." And so I went to the first one that he ever did, and it was he had Matt Koff there, like he writes for the Daily
What
Show.
year that was?
I mean, it was 8 years ago, so what?
Tim was doing that show for 8 years.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah, 'cause
7 or 8 years.
We met at that open. I discovered that open mic.
Yeah, we met at the open
because it was kind of like this enclosed open because like you and Tim and a
Right.
few other comedians and all the other comedians like us that were up here, we didn't know about it. I went down there and was like, "Oh, it's a good open mic," and that's when we met. That was about 5-6 years ago.
Right. So I went to the first event he ever did. It was at the library at Dobbs. I love that place.
Post-COVID is
I
when I
love
met
that place. And people like, "Oh, you do comedy at a library?" Whatever. It's fun, and they're cool. That's a very cool place.
Yeah, if,
So-
if once they pack that room, you have a great
They
show.
pack that room a lot too. Tim's really packing in the room now these days. But anyway, so I went to the first one, and it was great. Like the comedians were great. Like Tim was good. Like everything was cool. And he's like, "Oh, we're doing open mics." And like talk to my wife. I'm like, "Liz, like I don't know. Like I kind of want to try it again." And so she pushed me. She really did. She pushed me. She like said, write your 5 minutes and like go over and like she's the most intimidating person I know. So like I did it in front of her until I mean I didn't get the thumbs up at first. She made me rewrite stuff. But when I got the thumbs up for her, I'm like, okay, I'll go do it. So I did it. And one of the first jokes I told that night was I'm like, yeah, I'm from Eastern Kentucky, a little bit about Eastern Kentucky, and I'm like, I was a weird little kid because, like, all the other kids was like, hey, what does your daddy do? Like, my dad's a coal truck driver, and my dad's a firefighter. What does your dad do? And I'm like, well, my dad just kind of lays around a lot. He's falling apart. He's dead. And then I did the whole, well, he died in a fishing accident. So everybody says, oh, at least your dad died doing something he loves. Because, the whole family remembers how much Dad talked about how much he loved drowning.
Oh.
So, yes.
Dark.
So I went from there to like some Dahmer stuff. But anyway, so like it did okay. It did a lot better than you would think. And I still do that, pop that out every now and then because it works weirdly, especially with comedians. Like if you're in like a room doing an
love
open
dark
mic,
stuff.
they love the
Oh,
dark
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And like I did all this like murder porn, like true crime documentary shit. So I've my tolerance for darkness is very, very high. So so I told that joke, but anyway, afterwards Tim was like, oh, like I got a joke about my dad my dead dad too. And so then we went and like up to, there was a pub that's now closed, the corner pub. There was an Irish pub, and we went there and had beers and just kind of bonded. But
Are you
we've been
Irish?
friends
by
ever
descent?
since. I'm Scotch Irish. I'm like
Scotch Irish?
I'm hillbilly, so that's Scotch
Oh,
Irish.
hillbilly Irish. Tim
Yeah,
is.
and I don't see hillbilly as a derogatory term, so I'm not
Tim is
like
different.
making
Tim is
fun
like
of
a
it.
modern make your own Halloween costume Irish. Different.
When you say Scotch Irish, you mean heritage wise?
That's the heritage. If you look
Scotland
at
and Ireland?
yeah,
Okay.
those are the people who flocked to Appalachia back in the 1600s when people or 1700s when people were getting into because those were the guys who had committed horrible crimes and they wanted to go where there was absolutely no law.
You know what's funny? If you look into the history of America, and there's so much,
Mm-hmm.
they don't even know in those areas sometimes what they are. But my friend was telling me this, that like let's say like like when Bush was president, my friend told me this because George W. Bush.
W.
So like people in Texas, like a lot of them don't know that they're Swedish. It's like in this other area, Cincinnati, those are Polish,
Right.
Czechoslovakian. And a lot of them don't even know.
Well, Cincinnati and Ohio in general is like full of like
After a while,
Scotch
you're just
Irish
American,
Appalachian. Like there's a whole like when industrial when the 1900s, there was a whole influx of people or exodus of people from Appalachia to Ohio, Cincinnati area to do industrial work. And then it's just basically just like immigrants. They would like do work and then bring it home to
There were
Appalachia.
jobs in industry, right?
Yeah.
I have a question. You say Appalachia in Kentucky?
It's Appalachia.
Appalachia. So
What is that?
Everybody else says
What does
Appalachia.
it really mean?
what is West Virginia's Appalachia?
Huh? At West Virginia? Oh, we don't talk about West Virginia. No, I'm joking. Like honestly, like West Virginia, like growing up in Kentucky, is like, oh man, at least we can make fun of West Virginia.
Oh man, that was your Mexico.
Yeah. So you know what? Like it's October, so you know what they do in West Virginia in October? Pumpkin.
Huh?
They have pumpkins, but they pumpkin.
Oh.
But what is Appalachia? It's West
so
Virginia and it's that whole region, the mountainous region. That's
Yeah,
what's
no, I'm joking. I love West
Yeah.
Virginia, and I love, but yeah, all that area. And what's really funny is like I talked to
down
my,
through Tennessee, right?
I'll call my mom. Yeah, well, no, and it's up here. Like we are part of Appalachia.
Oh, really?
Like Appalachia,
Oh,
especially
right, the
like
Appalachian Trail, which ends here
the
in New York,
Catskills
right?
are Appalachia.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it does. Yeah, it goes all the way
I
up.
don't get that. It's a mountain culture. So Appalachia.
It is a mountain culture. Yeah, it's a mountain culture. Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Southern Appalachia, periphery.
Literally in Europe, we have this kind of thing in Europe too.
Europe.
European countries that have like people who live in the mountains. They're very distinct from people who don't live in the mountains, and you just call them mountain people.
Covering Pennsylvania,
I mean, it's
in that documentary, you showed me
Maryland,
that piece. They
West
call
Virginia,
themselves
Little
mountain
Ohio.
people, right?
that's Kentucky,
Yeah.
that's Tennessee. What's that? Is that Louisiana?
that's
what's the red?
I
That's Tennessee, right? Or Arkansas?
Tennessee's like Tennessee and Kentucky are really, I think, and that part of West Virginia.
So see
really like the
see the
heart
see the
of,
dark blue part. That's the western end of North Carolina. Above it is Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
No Tennessee or Kentucky.
above North Carolina.
Kentucky's right
That's
there above
Virginia.
Tennessee, and then over there is West Virginia. and then
Tennessee
there's
has a little
Virginia.
bit of red in it.
Yes, and I believe that would.
And
I guess
the
that
red
would-
is where New Orleans.
That's called Southern Appalachian Periphery.
So Kentucky's just a little bigger than West Virginia, like 20, like right, a little bit bigger than.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
northwest of
Ohio.
West Virginia. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, Kentucky's fun, man. Kentucky's got a beautiful landscape.
And what's
beautiful
directly
lakes,
west of Kentucky there?
all kinds of bourbon, all kinds of beautiful horses. It's a great place.
I know that from Pennsylvania, Ohio, that's Indiana and Illinois and Michigan on the top, right?
What's west of Pennsylvania directly? Ohio.
Ohio?
Oh, so that's Ohio.
Right next to Ohio is Indiana. Next
Right.
to Indiana is Illinois.
Right.
Illinois. Next to Illinois is Minnesota. North.
Man, you're good with your geography.
It's because I've driven these places, right? And like going down to I know that you get North and South Carolina, then after that you get Georgia, then Georgia and Florida.
So let me ask you this, Mike. You got you're an editor. You have this background working for all these companies as a freelancer. I asked you
amazing.
before because we drove here, and I asked you about how what your background was, because like somebody listening to this that would say, "Oh, that's an interesting. How do I get into this field of work?" What did you start at? You majored in journalism, right? You
Yeah,
said?
so it's when I don't know, like I was a big reader. I always want to make movies. I always want to be like a huge. I and it's like I will say my dad died, right? So like, and I never had a dad, and that's a big. I mean, I have
You were
older
two-
brothers.
you
I
were
had an
two
old
when he died.
grandfather. I mean, I had a grandfather who was there, so I had father figures. I had like male, but I didn't have a dad. And it's so like I literally did this when I was, I think, 12. I was like deeply, deeply into Jimi Hendrix, George Carlin, and Stephen King. Those were like my heroes.
Hendrix, George Carlin, Stephen King.
And I said to myself, like, I don't have a dad, but like, I can just say that they're my dad and like think of them as my dad. And so I read everything I could about Hendrix, read everything I could about Carlin, read all Stephen King that I could because I loved him. And I kind of just thought of and it's weird. And I've met Stephen King and met George Carlin, you know, both of them in book signings. Yeah. And so like, I'm sure you guys are almost done, right? Like we don't have a lot
No,
of time.
we got a couple of minutes left. How much time?
I'll show you this. So check
Got
this
7
out.
minutes left.
So when I was 13,
Yeah.
I had my dad before he died. He had a trailer that they had converted into a house, like almost like a double wide. So hey, go me, a double wide trailer. But anyway, so he built the house that I had when before he died. But so he died when I was 2, and my mom was a grade school teacher. And then about the time I was 13, my house burned down, and this is like literally the only thing that survived out of my house, and it's this is the book that kind of like I fell in love with reading.
So what is the book? Stephen King's.
Stephen King's,
Christine.
it's Christine, and so I mean you can see it's all charred and stuff. But my wife, one of the first like really cool presents she ever got me, she got me tickets to see Stephen King. Accept I think the Author of the Year award at George Mason University, which is kind of like a big literary thing. And so
George Mason University, is that's DC?
it's in Virginia.
Virginia?
Yeah, but it's close to DC. Yeah.
So you go to the book
George
signing.
Washington
right?
University is.
Yeah, I go to the book sign. I take my God. I'm gonna sound like such a wacko. I know I'm on it. I know I'm on like Stephen King has a database, and I'm almost positive I'm on it because I take my second or my oldest son. I have 2 sons. His name's Stephen Vincent, and named after Stephen King and Vincent Price. That's how weird I am. But I did take him with me, and so I introduced him to Stephen King because my wife, God bless her, she got these tickets, and they let me take my son in just because I told him like he's literally named after him. And so I did. I introduced Stephen King to him, and I was like, "Oh, this is my son. He's named after you and Vincent Price." And he's like, and he's like, I could tell he really enjoyed that, but then. I don't know. Anyway, I gave him this book, and I'm like, look, my house burned down when I was 13, and this is the only thing that survived. And like, I want you to sign it. And he did. He looked at it and he was like, oh wow. And I said, yeah, like my house burned down. This is the only thing that survived. And he goes, well, everybody knows you can't kill Christine. I just thought that was
Did you
like,
watch the movie?
No.
You've never seen Christine?
Never seen a horror movie.
Wow.
yeah. So that's it. So like, I have like,
Movie.
I mean, it's kind of.
Wow.
I did give my son some like really like
You wrote over
nice.
500 books and short stories.
But that's like a complete like throwaway book. Like the thing I love about that is like I can carry that around and it's not a precious thing. Like it literally was on fire at one point. So it's like
It's
a cool keepsake.
Yeah, it is, that's for sure.
yeah, but I did also get him to sign a first edition thinner that was that was worth a lot of money. And then also I believe he also signed Startling Mysteries #1, which is his first actual sale. So I collect some of his first stories too, and like all his short stories, like before he got famous, like I collect them all. I have almost all of them, like all of his first initial sales, and they're all in dirty books. Like they're all in like Hustler and like Cavalier magazine and Penthouse. And so I have like boxes full of like girly magazines, and I'm like, no, it's literature. I promise.
But he deviated from horror only a few times. Shawshank Redemption is the famous one. That was him. Was Green Mile him?
Actually, he's done a ton of like non-horror stuff. He
yeah?
did a really great, like very almost like a novella short story about coaching Little League,
But horror is what he's known for. He's the best.
Well,
at it.
he kind of like he says, he didn't necessarily reinvent the genre, but he did elevate the genre. That's how he.
Right.
I mean, he used to degrade himself in interviews. He used to call himself the, Big Mac and Shake of literature, which didn't serve him well because people took it like, but now it's like, okay, wait a
What was
second.
the baseball movie you said he did? Little League?
It was a short story. It's called Heads Up, and he also did another baseball kind of like and a person I know. I'm not a friend of his, but Stephen King's official biographer is named Bev, and I remember reading. I was like, "There's a Bev in here. Oh, his name's Bev Vincent. Oh, I go on Facebook. Oh, that's my Facebook friend. Like he's like a character in one of his books. Billy Blockade was the book. It's about a baseball team, but he's done a lot. He's
Amazing.
horror is his that's where he kind of
Pet
blossomed.
Cemetery, tons of movies, right? Pet Cemetery.
I mean, but he is the premier horror author. I'm not saying he has done a ton of and his book on writing, which is On Writing is the name of the book. It's one of the best nonfiction.
Really?
And I'm biased, but obviously I don't want to I don't want him to have further reasons to put me on his list.
Yeah.
I want off the database. Could you just take me off the database, Mr. King? I'm not that bad. I've gotten over it. I met you. That was enough for me. But I did when I Lisbeth, my wife, started pulling me away because she could oh, you're getting ready to embarrass yourself.
Jeez.
But I did. I was like, thank you for introducing me to the Ramones.
Man,
It's just like the fanboying. Is what I was
the little
fanboying.
Latina was looking out for you.
She always is.
We got
She
just
always
over a
is.
minute.
just over a minute, yeah.
Quick question, quick last question.
Real quick, what's the one thing we're talking about pitching shows?
Mm-hmm.
What's the thing you saw pitched that didn't get made that you're like, why didn't this get made? It was something amazing. Anything cool?
Something that
Or other people pitched?
I'm still pitching it, or I would tell you, but there's one that I've never let go of. An idea that has to do with it has to do with Elvis Presley and his buddies in Memphis, and I still think it's a wonderful idea, and I have pitched it, and I have had interest, there's a woman named Alana Nash who is she's written a bunch of books on Presley's, and the Presley family loves her. And anything you do about Presley has to be approved by the Presley family. Wow. But she wants to work with me on it. So I have that connection. So that's what I'm talking about, access. I have access to her. She likes me. She has access to the That's like when you pitch, you got to have those things. Mm-hmm. That's what it took me a long time to get over. But that's my dream project. And I have another one that...
Got 30 seconds. Edit quick.
Oh, man. Well,
This is where the editing skills come in play.
yeah, but the one that I think should have got made, I'm still trying to get made. But
Nice.
the Hazard one,
So where can fans check you out? Check out your work.
I am working with a buddy who eats a lot of hamburgers. So we're doing a YouTube show called The Burger Chronicles NYC.
Okay.
And we've got 2 that we've uploaded. We've got 4 that we've shot. So we're going to keep doing those for a while.
That's cool.
I put them out when I have time to edit them.
Mike is the guy to go to with where the best burger spots are all over New York City and Westchester,
Yeah.
What
right?
about pizza, real quick? Where's pizza?
I love Johnny's in Mount Vernon.
Oh, that is good.
That's
that
a
is
good
Thin,
in
very
Westchester.
thin.
Yeah,
Very
and in New York,
That's some good pizza.
Scars. I'm just going to throw out Scars. I like Scars a lot. I love that pizza.
I mean, now you got to pick and choose.
And Emmett's, the thin crust Chicago style at Emmett's.
Well,
And
thanks
that
for
burger at Emmett's.
You've been a great guest. Thanks for
Awesome
coming
guest,
on.
Man. I feel like we just
Check him out at Lost Creek Creative. And what's the burger YouTube?
Burger Chronicles NYC. The Burger Chronicles NYC.
On YouTube.
Yeah, and my buddy Mike eats NYC burgers. Go check him out. He's ridiculous. He's tasted hundreds and hundreds of burgers, and he catalogs them all. He's got a tier stacked system.
Check it out, right?
Insane guy. But yeah, I'm just working, guys, hustling, trying to do everything I can.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for stopping by, man.
Thank you.
35, Love the Sugar Podcast, guys. It's a wrap.
Thank you, guys. See you next time.